Welcome to another Sunday A.W.A.Y. ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another group of distinguished guests. First, we're going to start off with Regina Thomas, who is the Executive Director of A.W.A.Y, formerly known as the Women's Resource Center. And then we'll have Aaron Stone joining us at our next half, who is the Director of Prevention for the A.W.A.Y Women's Resource Center, talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're talking about their ongoing vigils that they've been having throughout the counties to honor survivors and victims of domestic violence, and their upcoming event on October 24th. Thanks so much for coming to the forum.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the time to be able to bring awareness to our viewers in the community about domestic violence. So thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's so important, and what you all do at A.W.A.Y is extremely important. So for the people out there who are unfamiliar, can you tell us about A.W.A.Y's mission?
Yes, A.W.A.Y, which means advocating a way for adults and youth. So it doesn't matter how you identify, doesn't matter if you're a victim of domestic and sexual violence, we advocate for you. So our mission is to help hopefully eradicate and end domestic violence in our communities. That's the end goal. I would like to work myself out of a job, but that's why we're here today, is to share the information about domestic and sexual violence, just to let the community be aware that it is happening.
Awesome. And I'm really glad that you brought up that, like, regardless of, because I know it's usually known as the Women's Resource Center, but you can be a victim of abuse as any gender, any age, you can experience that. So I'm really glad that you brought that up as well. And to know that, if you're suffering, if you are, going through something such as this, that A.W.A.Y is here to help.
Definitely, and I would like to share just some statistics with you. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience domestic violence. So it is happening. And then also, on average, it will take a woman about 7 times before she actually leaves her leaves her abuser. So, it's a lot. And when I came on board with A.W.A.Y, I got educated so much, because when you have a victim who's in a relationship, whether it be a friend, co-worker, neighbor, family member, they're going through this abuse, and you say, why don't you leave? Just leave. It's not that simple. When a victim is trying to exit a relationship, that is the most dangerous time for them to leave. Another jaw-dropping statistic is between 70 and 75% of women who are killed by their abuser, it occurs when they're leaving the relationship or just after they have left. So it's scary. It's not easy just to say, just leave. But the one good thing about A.W.A.Y and what we provide is we have a crisis shelter. So if there's a situation where a person is trying to leave an abusive relationship, we have that crisis emergency shelter that they can come to get away from that. We are there 24/7, 365. We service Raleigh, Fayette, Nicholas, and Summers counties. So, I'm sure that you'll share our information at the end about our contact number and then our website, but reach out to us. Our advocates are trained to help with safety planning. So if you're thinking about trying to exit an abusive relationship, reach out to us. We can help you get your ducks in a row to help be a safer exit, because it is dangerous for the victims.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought that up as well, because I know that some people, like we were talking before the show, they look at these, these relationships, these abusive relationships, and they're like, well, why doesn't this person just leave? And it's not always that simple. And we were talking about how it can be difficult to really reconcile with the fact that the person that you love, the person that you married even maybe, could hurt you like that. So, for people that are in that situation, or people that are surrounded by friends, siblings, things like that, who see their loved one in that type of situation, how do you recommend that they help these people get help?
Well, we're very victim-center led. So that means, we can give them the information, but it's up to them to reach out. But just having the information available, it may be that 6th time that they're experiencing abuse, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to call A.W.A.Y. I'm going to call the number, again, 24/7, 365 days of the year. We have a trained advocate there to help you get you through the crisis. And so they just have they have to decide to leave. But just being there as a support system, and that's why our advocates are so great. They will support a victim if it's filling out a domestic violence petition, or if it's maybe filing divorce papers, just going to court with our victim to support them during that whole process. So even though it's a lot to try to get out of an abusive relationship, we do have resources there for our victims.
Awesome. And what has been the impact so far of, all the work that you have done? Like, I'm sure that, this is a very pervasive issue nationwide, worldwide. Mm-hmm. But, just here with A.W.A.Y, like how many people have you've seen, and what type of statistics or rates could you give us locally for what we're facing?
Yes, great question. I appreciate that. So last year, between January 1st to December 31st of 2023, we helped advocate for over 1,200 victims. We had approximately 79 residents at our shelter. We had over 1,500 crisis calls. That's just in the 4 counties we serve. So it is happening in our backyard. We cannot be an ostrich with our head in the sand thinking that it doesn't exist, because it does. And I'm so glad that I've got this opportunity to, talk to your viewers about domestic violence and how it affects us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure some people out there watching, they've been affected, or they know somebody who's been affected and they would like to help. So how can we, as the community, help out A.W.A.Y with, continuing to do the great work that you all do?
Well, just for an example, we are 100% grant funded, which helps us with our, costs for our staff, for helping us to have space for the other counties to come to have an extension office. That's what our grants pay for. The way that the community can help is to fill those gaps. So for example, at the shelter, we spend approximately $15,000 just for food. Okay, that doesn't come out of our grants. That's where these donations and these fundraiser dollars come into play. Also, let's just say something as simple as $25. That helps our victims in so many ways. When you have someone who's trying to leave an abusive relationship and they just leave, they don't think about packing their driver's license, birth certificate. That's the last thing on their mind. They want to get out of that volatile situation and try to get there, to get away so they can have somewhere safe to go. So just something as $25 helps us to be able to purchase birth certificate, driver's license. Maybe there's other little small things that we take for granted of being able to access. And as much as $500. We've got residents at our shelter who came with nothing. So when they exit, we try to help them with our donations and fundraising dollars to make sure they have a bed for them and a bed for their children to sleep in, pots and pans, cleaning supplies, just something so simple that some of us take for granted because we have access to it so easily. So it's so important, and the community has been so great throughout the counties that we serve to donate things and to give us monetary donations. And I just want to thank you all for that, because it does go to a good cause, and our clients that we serve are very, very appreciative of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, shout out to the community and
Yes.
you all for doing your part to really help this really bad problem, honestly, that affects men, women, and children all over. And I'm glad that you brought up the financial component as well. I was reading and I've read about how much, like over 90% of these kind of domestic violence situations, financial abuse takes place. And in the society that we kind of live in, where you need money for everything, it's really debilitating when you don't have it. So.
I would agree, yeah. And it's just, like I said, when you leave that abusive relationship and you've not ever had the opportunity to have that financial situation, because a lot of times abusers have that power and control. Mm-hmm. So they don't allocate you the funds that you would need to do just simple things. So it's great, you're right, financial abuse is a part of that domestic violence umbrella, yes.
And since we are talking finances, you are also having a fundraiser coming up October 24th that will give us also, well, the community as well, more of an opportunity to help you all out. So what will be happening at that event?
Yes, we're so excited. This is our third annual Purple Halo Gala fundraiser. It's a Havana night theme, so think of colorful, fun evening. Currently we have over $4,200 worth of silent auction items. We've got some great things that you can bid on. And then also throughout the evening, we will have opportunities for our guests to donate while they're there. And we've got Marie Bechtel is our recipient this year. She's an awesome lady. She's a wonderful ambassador for A.W.A.Y. She has worked with our advocates and clients for many years, and we're so super excited to have her be the recipient this year. But it's going to be at the historic Black Knight Country Club on Thursday, October 24th at 6 o'clock.
Awesome.
Yes.
Is there a mission for that?
There is. You can purchase the tickets at A.W.A.Y.org. Go under your events tab across the top, or excuse me, donations across the top, and you can click events. Yes.
Awesome.
We'd love to see you all there.
Awesome. I'm sure it'll be a great time, and it's for a great cause. So, I mean, you can go out, have you a good time, and know that you're doing something good to help out, some people locally, some people you may not even know is experiencing things like this. They may be. So you don't know who you could be a blessing to. So be sure to come out. How do you engage the community in discussions about, domestic violence prevention and things such as this? Because I know it can be a really heavy topic for some people, especially those who have a history with it, who've experienced it.
We're very fortunate in that regard because, again, our community is so great in the counties that we serve. So we do like to go out and do tabling events. Like last weekend, we were at the Hinton Railroad Days, which was wonderful. We had so many different people come up to our tables to grab information. And during these tabling events, even if we just have one person that information gets to that will call and, want our services, we're like, thank you. And then we go to different schools throughout the counties. So we're very fortunate to be able to get into these different businesses, and they want to hear about it. Because like I said, it exists. 1 in 4 women, 1 in 7 men. Again, we just can't be an ostrich with our head in the sand.
Absolutely. So, it'd be nice to see you all at, these different events because, you wouldn't obviously think of it, but, this is it's a community resource that is super important. So, thank you all for the work that you do and for coming here and giving us all this information.
You're very welcome. And again, I want to thank you for this opportunity for the viewers to see and learn about domestic violence and how they can get in contact with us if they know someone, whether it be a friend, coworker, neighbor, family member. Again, we're there 24/7, 365 days of the year.
Absolutely. And do you mind plugging the website one more time? I think we'll have it come up on the bottom of the screen or the lower third as well.
I want to do better than that. I want to plug 2.
Awesome.
I'm going to give you our crisis hotline, which is 304-255-2559, 24/7, 365. Then we have our website, which is A.W.A.Y.org.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you all. We'll come right back. We'll be here talking to Ms. Erin Stone more about what A.W.A.Y, formerly known as the Women's Resource Center, is doing for the community and how you can help out. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Erin Jones, who is the Director of Prevention for A.W.A.Y, formerly known as the Women's Resource Center, and we're talking about everything that the center does in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So thanks so much for coming back to the forum.
Thank you so much for having me again. I absolutely love coming out and visiting with you guys. It's always a great time.
Absolutely. We love talking to you all and your organization. You all do such important work around here, and you always have the best information for us to, give out to the community. community. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. Make a girl blush.
Absolutely. And we see that you all have been doing, I know last week you all were in Raleigh County. You had a candlelight vigil there. I believe Fayette County was this week.
That is correct.
So what was the inspiration behind having these events to really honor the survivors and the victims of domestic violence like this?
So domestic violence, obviously a very heavy topic, and unfortunately we don't always have survivors who come out of it. Sometimes those survivors, if there are any, are family members who have lost someone really important to them. So the candlelight vigils is a way for us to honor the people that have lost their lives to domestic violence over the last year within our state, and it's also a way to inspire people in our community to let them know, hey, we have an opportunity to be a part of ending this horrific experience for so many families. So it's a way to inspire people, it's a way to remember those who are very important to us, very close to us, and a way to honor our survivors who have made it out the other side, because that is a huge accomplishment. You have rebuilt your life from the ground up, and it's so important to say, hey, congratulations, that's absolutely amazing, we're so proud of you, and if we were a part of that journey, we are so glad that we were.
That's wonderful. It's an awesome way to, honor these people that have been through a lot, and it's really great to see. What role does education play in preventing domestic violence, and what resources does A.W.A.Y offer to help with that?
So education's huge. I think for talking about any topic, the more you understand it, the easier it is to identify, the easier it is to put a stop to it. So education is huge when we're preventing domestic violence. Not just for adults to say, hey, here are the red flags to look out for, but even with our younger kids. So we talk to different groups, depending on the age, of course. With the youngest groups that we would do things like body safety. So talking about, hey, here's appropriate ways for you to interact with other children and with adults, and ways to keep yourself safe. If something does happen, here are ways to handle that, especially when kids don't have the language all the time to express, hey, I'm uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is a hard word. We were talking about hard words a minute ago. Uncomfortable is a hard word, and they might not be able to identify it quite yet because they're a little bit too young. So these programs do help with them learning different ways to express their words so that adults can understand them. Then we also talk about things like healthy relationships when we're talking to our teenagers and things like that. Safe ways to interact with each other. That can include how we interact online as well. We also talk to them about things like bullying, how to stand up for each other. One big program that we do, typically with adults, but it works great with teenagers too, is bystander intervention. So being the person to stand up and say, hey, no, that's not okay. And when, usually if you have a bully or someone who's hurting someone else, and other people start standing up and saying, no, 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 we're not going to put up with that either. Not just the person that you're hurting, but the rest of us won't put up with it. It puts an end to that violence really, really quickly, no matter what kind of violence it is, even if it's just hurtful words. So there's some really great programs that we do, but it's also great to just understand exactly what domestic violence is, what bullying is, what that constitutes, and what are the steps that we can take if we see something happen. So one thing that we hear a lot is see something, say something. So that's a big one for us as well. And just saying no more, we're not going to put up with this anymore.
That's really great. I think everybody really needs that type of education. I wish we could, we just all go and take a class on that and just like understand how to treat each other a lot better. Just beyond, relationships, just interpersonal relationships and how we treat people in the world. Sometimes it can be really mean. So I think if everybody had that type of information, the world would be a better place.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because, sometimes you see what happens with domestic violence is it's generational. So it kind of gets passed down, which is, it's horrible if that's, kind of the area that you're coming from, because it does make it harder for you to get out of those situations. So you're kind of already starting off from like a step down of kind of that normal baseline. But that's one of the reasons that we do this as well, is to end that generational, I don't want to call it a curse, but kind of a generational curse of, you watched, this is how your parents and your grandparents interacted. You may not know that's not a normal way to interact with other people. It's all you've ever known. And that's not your fault, but we like the idea of coming in and saying, hey, there are other options, there are other ways, because that doesn't just end people becoming victims. It actually a lot of times stops people from becoming perpetrators of that violence. They say, wait a second, Are you telling me that this whole time I did not know that that's not how I treat a female? That's not how I treat my boyfriend. That's not how I treat my kids. This whole time I didn't know that that's how my parents did it. That's how my grandparents did it. And they may not have known any better either. So it's one of those opportunities with education to not just stop violence on one side, but on both sides, the people who are causing the harm and the people who receive the harm. So it's a really great opportunity. It's something we're trying to delve more and more into so that we can get to that goal that we have of ending domestic violence in our communities.
Absolutely, that's great. That's great to hear. And in the meantime, what types of support services does your center offer for survivors?
Absolutely. So we're an advocacy agency. So what we do is we advocate for our clients, which sounds like, okay, so what does that even mean? It means that we go with you every step of the way through your process from I am ready to be done with this violence, I'm ready to get out of here, to the very end. So that could include things like medical advocacy. You are allowed to have an advocate with you when you're going through those medical exams for different things. So we do domestic violence and sexual violence. So either of those, you're able to have an advocate with you, someone to hold your hand, walk you through the process too, so that you're not blindsided by something. You're not like, oh my gosh, who just poked me? I wasn't ready for it. You have someone who knows the process and is with you. Our advocates know the legal process too, whether it's criminal or civil. We are able to walk with you through that process and let you know what's coming up, let you know what your options are so that you are not, again, blindsided throughout this process. And sometimes we have run into a couple of issues of maybe people who are inside of a system not fully understanding who we are, what we do, or what the rights are of the victim. So we're able to advocate for you within those systems as well so that you are not alone throughout this whole process. We also have counseling services. So if anyone is interested in that, we do have a counselor on staff who would be able to walk with them through some of that healing journey as well. So it's really just going from crisis, something just happened and I'm ready, to all the way to the end to being healed and being independent and getting you back out on your own as your own person once more.
That's really great. And it's really great to know as well that, you have advocates that will walk with these people throughout their journey and probably some of the hardest moments of their life. I know a couple weeks back we talked to CASA, the court-appointed special advocates, and they really stressed that as well. And they were like, we're with them the entire time. And I think it's really great and really important for you all to be with this person the entire time and be that support for them.
Absolutely, because you're talking about going through some of the darkest moments of your life, and doing it alone is really intimidating. It's really scary, and if you don't have someone with you, you don't have that kind of hand up, it's really, really hard. And that is one of the cases where we see people kind of falling back into those relationships of abuse because they do not have those resources. They don't have the toolkit. They don't have the hand saying, hey, let me help you out, because if you leave, you have nothing. Well, we're going to try and help you with that as well. I know Regina mentioned it earlier. We have a shelter, 24 hours. We have somewhere for you to stay. We, make sure that your kids are getting to school. Like we go with you through that whole process to make sure that we are meeting every need that we possibly can, and hopefully get you all ready to go and out there and on your own again.
Awesome. Well, it's a great resource to have, and it's awesome that we're letting the people know about this. Not going into too much detail, but can you share any success stories that highlight the positive outcomes of the support service and the advocacy that you all do?
So it is actually, this is one of my favorite statistics. So individuals who go through an advocacy agency within the U.S., if the victim becoming a survivor goes through an agency like ours, they are 25% more likely to survive that interaction and to also thrive and stay away from that relationship again. So that is a huge percentage. I know some people might be like 1 in 4, but 1 in 4 out of how many? That's a huge number. So we're really proud to do what we do because we find a lot of success stories. We have individuals who come back and let us know how they're doing after years, or every Christmas we get a few Christmas cards from individuals. Obviously we are bound by confidentiality, so there's not a lot of detail I can go into because we want to keep everyone's privacy.
Absolutely.
But it is amazing when you see somebody who didn't know how to boil an egg, who didn't know how to make coffee, who didn't know how to manage finances, who didn't know exactly how to maneuver maybe transitioning their children through a process, or even doing split custody and understanding that process and how to keep themselves safe through that process. It is amazing to watch them get independent. They have their own house. They have their own school stuff set up for the kids. They're able to do things for themselves. Because we all remember turning 18 and calling our mom still and saying, can you set up my dentist appointment? And so it's really, it's really intimidating when you have to get out there by yourself for the first time. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that is the beauty of what an advocacy agency will do for someone, is that we're going to help you not just through the legal process, not just through medical processes, not just through all of those things, but with life skills as well that you maybe were completely kept from ever getting an opportunity to learn. And I have witnessed people like cook an egg for the first time and the pride on their face, the excitement, and I'm like, I remember that. I might have been a little bit younger when it happened to me, but it's amazing that you're getting this opportunity at this point in your life and that you're so proud and you're doing such a great job. And we see it time and time again. We see people healing from wounds that we weren't 100% sure if they'd walk again, and they're walking, they're running, they're able to do things. So those are just some examples of things that we have personally seen from individuals at our agency that they've really just grown and done such a beautiful job, and it's wonderful to see them get out there and just make the most of their lives in a way that they were not sure they'd ever be able to.
That's so awesome to hear. And I think some of these like little things that you're teaching them that are, just life skills, I think it could really just change their life and change the trajectory of it. So thank you all so much for everything that you do. And hopefully us in the community can help you all out with getting you all unemployed in this, this
we
juncture.
Would love that. Yes, work me out of a job. That would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
So thank you. And one more time, can we plug the contact information so people know how to get in touch with you guys?
Absolutely. Our 24/7 hotline. It's call any time of day, any day of the year, holidays included. It's 304-255-2559. And our website is A.W.A.Y.org.
Awesome. Thank you, Erin, and thank you, Regina, so much for joining us, giving us all this important and really awesome information and resources that hopefully the community takes and spreads it around. Whether you need it or somebody else needs it, it's super important. So guys, be sure to spread the word. But until next week, you guys have a happy Sunday, and we will see you next week for Community Forum.